Oh yeah. What better way to start off the episode than with some little Dr. Pepper ASMR, you know what I'm saying? Welcome back to Mic'd Up. This is Michael Schneider. I'm pleased to be joining you here Sunday, April 3rd, 2026. Man, it's been fun, you know. It's been fun going on through spring, you know, without football, but we're talking about football today. It's not the NFL, unfortunately. We had, stuff to talk about last week. But obviously, I'm always going to make my point to get around all these sports. We got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of variation today. We're even talking about equestrian today. Obviously, as you know, the Kentucky Derby was this weekend. Speaking of horses, and Dr. Pepper to start off, I think I drink enough Dr. Pepper to kill probably a dozen horses. You can check my trash can right now. There is probably a case and a half in there. It's just it's lethal. This stuff's crazy. I used to be hooked on Coke, not cocaine, Coca-Cola. But man, I'm telling you, you can kind of tell from my mood that I've had a can or two today already. Uh, I don't know. This has got to be at least first handful. We're not talking about that though. Like I said, we got a lot of sports. Spring going on, NBA playoffs. We've got MLB still going on. We're not even. I don't even think we're close to the All-Star break. Lots of stuff to talk about today. But first, we're going to start off in the NBA. Obviously, it's kind of been a point of discussion, basically like a highlighted point for a lot of people, in the sports world. Obviously, the playoffs round one wrapping up today. We've got the Magic at the Pistons, Game 7. Raptors at Celtics, also Game 7. Why did I say Raptors at Celtics? That's not the Raptors at the Celtics. Celtics, speaking of the Celtics, they got bounced last night. They lost a 3-1 lead. Jason Tatum was not playing last night, and clearly that, I want to say, made the difference. I think Jaylen Brown team still played good regardless, but Jason Tatum was just, it's a huge blow to them. Obviously, it's kind of like same fashion how they, lost last year with Jason Tatum missing the entire series with an ACL, if I'm not mistaken, ACL, MCL. I can't remember if it was ankle. He had a knee injury, so kind of in that ballpark, but it was nothing severe. Just a single game was expected to be missed. If they were to make it to the next round, obviously he'd be playing for the foreseeable side of the series. But for Jason Tatum, he will not be playing basketball again until next February. Man, I don't even know. I don't even know when the NBA season starts up. That's just how little ball I know about basketball. But obviously, it's huge. Huge for 76ers. Obviously, coming back down 3-1. Joel Embiid is carrying the Sixers onto the next round. They play the New York Knicks, and that's exactly where we are unfortunately going to be going to next. Just get a moment of silence for the entire city of Atlanta. A moment of silence for CJ McCollum, for Dyson Daniels, for Jalen Johnson, for oh gosh, Onyeka Ngakwe. Fuck, I don't know his name, but man, I barely lasted a quarter. Obviously, Thursday night, as you may know, around 7, 8 p.m., we had the Knicks and the Hawks Game 6. I said last weekend that we would be seeing the Knicks and the Hawks in a 7-game series. It ended up just being cut by one game, cut short. And let me tell you, that was the biggest disappointment I've seen in my entire life. A lot of people are referencing it to the Atlanta Falcons 28-3 choke, and obviously it's just we keep catching strays out here. The Atlanta Falcons, obviously, the Hawks. It just hurts my soul. That was a nightmare to watch. Just complete offensive and defensive meltdown. There wasn't even anything off rip. We didn't even start off well. We were down hella early. It's just like a helpless child. That's what it looked like on Thursday night in Atlanta. So I think my response to that is we should take a demolition crew and the entire stretch from State Farm Arena to Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and we should just clear out all of that and just start from scratch, because what in the shit was that? Obviously, Hawks blown out, embarrassed, like I've said. A lot of people, unfortunately, are saying, oh, well, nobody expected the Hawks to be in the playoffs this year, especially with the Trae Young trade, how they started off, the iconic stat line of how the Hawks have kind of broken even with their record for God knows how long. in the NBA. That's irrelevant to the story. Despite that, nobody expected them to make it to the playoffs, especially not even show a single like smidge of fight, especially, winning a game in Queens and then winning a game to kind of take the series by storm 2-1, and then we just lost 3 straight. And then you just kind of saw what a lot of people were expecting. Obviously, a lot of people made a bunch of money that night. A lot of people lost a bunch of money. But for the Atlanta Hawks, going into the offseason, man, it's rough. So, basically, message to them, get Anthony Edwards on the team somehow, some goddamn way, please, for the love of God. Obviously, he's going to be with the Wolves going into the next series. They beat the Nikola Jokic-led Denver Nuggets and Jamal Murray. They'll be moving on. It was, 4-2? So, yeah, disappointment in Atlanta yet again. So, we have the Atlanta Braves, which I'm hoping don't follow suit. I don't know how the hell the Braves have made it this far and have been as explosive as they are. But, I mean, keep going. That's all I'm going to say. Huge news with them, but we are not talking about the MLB right now. We are still finishing up with the NBA news. Obviously, LeBron's seemingly farewell tourney going on. We talked about it last week. It's going strong. Beat the Rockets. He's going on to face the Thunder. And man, as far as I'm concerned, Thunder are looking to back-to-back repeat. Oh man, we've got ourselves a series up ahead. This is going to be interesting to watch. Keep your eyes on that. I think that's the most interesting one we got up next. But realistically, I like all this. I like all the potential matchups that we have in this next round. That's kind of, what's expected. First round's kind of get thin out all the losers, and then when we get to the conference finals, Eastern and Western Conference Finals, we'll kind of see who's the big dogs. So that's basically what we got going on. LeBron won. What was it? Today's Sunday. It was a couple days ago in Houston. Wins game 6, I believe. Yep. Obviously, Sixers, we talked about it. They come back down 3-1. Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid dropped 64 combined. I think Embiid had 34. Obviously, he's the main workhorse there. Obviously, Maxey following suit. So they come back down 3-1. Celtics are sent home, or as far as I'm concerned, they were already home. So, just take the night off. Or just take the rest of the offseason off. Take the rest of the playoffs off. You guys are going home, or you guys are staying home. Sixers, they obviously, I believe, will travel to New York. That's what we got. They got an interesting series going on there, obviously. For either of those teams, thank God it's not like a Western or like an Eastern Conference, final type of ordeal where I have to, hope for the asteroid, because obviously, I think any person that unless you're from the state of Pennsylvania, unless you're from the state of New York, you don't like New York, you don't like Pennsylvania, you don't like that entire area. Especially New Jersey. Screw New Jersey, screw New York, screw Philadelphia, screw Pennsylvania, the whole state. Screw that entire area. Obviously, I think the only exception is Penn State, obviously. Go Nittany Lions, But other than that, we don't like any of that. We don't like any of that stuff out there in that area. Just not a big North guy, So, yeah, we talked about Tatum obviously missing the game with a knee. They're going home, blah, blah, blah. Jaden McDaniels obviously propels the Wolves past Jokic's Nuggets. They will be playing Game 6. He shot 32 points, 9 rebounds. I believe he damn near got it, or Jokic or somebody else. Or Jokic, I believe, almost got like a triple-double. So I think Jokic is really he's pissed. Get the guy a squad, all right? Maybe send him to Atlanta, like I said, round 2 begins tomorrow. We have the Timberwolves at the Spurs. Wembanyama versus McDaniels and Anthony Edwards. That will be at 9:30. An hour and a half earlier, we will have Philadelphia 76ers and the New York Knicks at 8 p.m. So keep an eye out on that. Obviously, Tuesday starts the Los Angeles Lakers and Oklahoma City Thunder series, and then the today depends. I think it starts at 3:30. 8:30 is the final game, which will be obviously Detroit and Orlando Pistons and the Magic. That will be decided today. Obviously Cleveland, the Cavs, and the Raptors. That's what I meant to say earlier when I said the Celtics and the Raptors. It was the I don't know why I put Celtics. That's just the C's. Yeah, so we got the Cavaliers and we have the Raptors, and they will be They'll be playing. So Detroit, if they lose, they will get bounced, and then Orlando will be starting off away. But if Detroit wins, then they will start off with home field advantage in Detroit against either the Cavs or the Raptors. So that's what we got going on. So basically, that's what we got. NBA. Round 1 finishing up today. Round 2 beginning tomorrow. Keeping the pace going. Round 1 has seemed like it's been going on for years. There's been so many narratives going on. There's been so much stuff happening. Obviously, I think the only people that have thought that this has gone quick is like maybe Thunder fans, Spurs fans. Obviously their opponent's not really putting up that much of a fight. Obviously the Trailblazers, they won like one game, but other than that, they really just basically, they've had a whole week to prep. So that's what we got. Obviously SGA, Jared McCain, all those boys in Oklahoma City, they will have they've had like an entire week to prepare for either LeBron or it was KD. So now they're going to be playing LeBron and the squad of the Lakers. So that's what we got going on. Obviously, same for Wembanyama, same for the Spurs. Maybe like a day less. Obviously, they had to play that extra game. They had to play that game 5. But NBA, yeah, wrapping up. Get round 2 beginning. Eastern Conference Finals. We're going to see who really wants it. Okay. Obviously, I think my predictions. I think if I had to say my predictions, Cleveland and first off today, Detroit and Orlando. I think Orlando takes it. I think Orlando gets a big upset. Or at least they've been showing dominance. Obviously, Detroit's been fighting back, which, they should be. They're the 1 seed in the East. So, fraudulent 1 seed, I guess. Obviously, Thunder are showing the complete opposite over in the Western Conference. Cleveland and Toronto. Honestly, I think Cleveland takes that. I'm not going to doubt Donovan Mitchell. I'm not going to doubt that Cleveland team. So, obviously, I believe it'll be Orlando, Cleveland. And then I think who comes out of there, give me Cleveland. I could definitely have better knowledge about this, and I could probably make better picks. So if you think these are some blasphemous picks, then, rightfully back me up. So, Minnesota, Sacramento, or San Antonio. God damn it. Same difference. Minnesota, San Antonio. Give me Minnesota. I'm never going to down Anthony Edwards, especially when he's in Atlanta next year playing for the Hawks. Philadelphia, New York. Give me New York. I think Philadelphia's reign ends here. There's no way they get past New York, especially with what New York did and the momentum that they're riding into Queens. Oh, you got to play 2 games in New York. I don't see the Sixers winning a single game in Queens. That's just me though. This is me. I might not know ball at all. Rightfully so. More of a football guy. But that's where we're going next in a second. But we got MLB, obviously, Braves. I believe for a week and a half, which hasn't been seen for quite some time. They are sitting atop the MLB. They were the first team to 20 wins. Obviously, the Dodgers, I believe, were Dodgers might have been the second, but as of now, no. Yeah, I believe that they were the second team or the third team. Obviously, the Yankees are kind of climbing back up. They were kind of in that mix with like the whole top 5, maybe around like 3-4. They're kind of sitting up. They're right underneath the Braves. They're like 20. They're like, I think, a game and a half behind, like 22 wins or something like that. So the Braves are winners of 8 of their last 10. I believe the Yankees are kind of on the same train. They're 8-2 in their last 10. So they began their West Coast journey. I believe it was Friday. I believe Friday was their West Coast beginning, at the beginning of their series. And realistically, oh man, what a roller coaster of emotions we had Friday in Denver. Obviously the Braves were down early, 6-0. Matt Olson kind of gets the guys kick-started, kind of gets the bats kick-started late in the game. They end up, squeezing away with the devil. I believe it was Michael Harris that had an RBI or something like that kind of propelled, or like a walk-off RBI or something like that, to get the boys kind of going. Yesterday it was kind of just, control, dominance. That's what we had. Today at 3:30, I believe, so that's 2.5 hours from now, we have Spencer Strider's return to the mound. He will be playing today in Denver to finish off the series against the Rockies, which shouldn't have been as stressful as it has from the start, especially with what happened in Atlanta on Thursday, Friday. If we would have started off the series with a loss to the Rockies, man, I don't even know what I would have done. But obviously, Braves, they secure another series win / tie. They win this series. I believe the only series they've really tied or like almost came close to losing was the Nationals like a couple weeks back. But I mean, I'd have to look at the statistic, but that's got to be I believe that's history. There's not been a team that has not lost a series this far into the season. We're well within a month and a half of baseball already going on. So obviously a huge start for them. I mean, we really got to see because that All-Star break is really when things can go downhill. We kind of get back, and then we have these narratives. All right, people are heavily favoring the Braves for the World Series. They're pouring all their attention in. They're pouring all their money in, obviously. And then Las Vegas starts farming up their revenue, what I'm saying, from these bets that people are putting on the Braves to win stuff. And then Braves fall off, maybe scrape into the playoffs. Phillies kind of scrape back up. They're a crappy seed with the Braves. And then the Phillies beat the Braves in the postseason. That's kind of how things go. And then the Phillies don't win a World Series because, that's just how irrelevant and how trash they are. But the rest of the East, the rest of the NL East, as far as I'm concerned, is they're just a bunch of toddlers right now. I know the Mets are like dead last in the series, and a lot of and to anyone that has gotten rage baited by what I've said about New York or Philadelphia or Pennsylvania, this is where I'm going to say New York Knicks fans. I mean, they are the most idiotic people to ever exist, and I could be saying this out of spite. I mean, partially I'm correct. Or partially you'd be correct if you're saying that I'm saying this out of spite because I'm pissed off about what happened. But their addiction to Trae Young is just completely blasphemous. I mean, we obviously, CJ McCollum was in the trade package with Young that sent him to Washington. And he kind of did his thing. It was almost like a pass the torch type of moment. CJ McCollum was kind of our starting guy in the beginning of the series. Obviously didn't do jack shit Thursday night in Atlanta, but I was at Side Talk, I believe, on TikTok. They're showing all these videos, and they're saying fuck Trae Young this, blah blah blah, Trae Young. It's like, dude, Trae Young would never let something like this happen. Let me tell you, dude, he would do what he did a few years back times 10, tenfold on you guys. Obviously, Trae Young iconic for owning the Knicks. I'm excited to see him do that more next year in a Wizards jersey. Obviously, a little bit of kind of jealousy for Wizards fans. I actually had that's the only Hawks jersey I had was a Trae Young, Peachtree jersey, beautiful jersey by the way. And obviously, like many of my Atlanta Falcons jerseys, they have gone outdated. So that's what we got going on. I don't know how we came over to basketball conversation again. Oh, yeah. New York. Yeah, Mets fans are all up in Braves comment sections and stuff like that, and anything to do with baseball, talking so much smack to Braves fans and stuff like that, and to the Braves in general, at least from what I've seen, saying, all this, blah, 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 this and that. As far as I'm concerned, guys, you were just on, like a 12, 13, I don't even know if the win streak or the losing streak has ever ended, but well within double digits of a losing streak, and you guys are dead last in the league. Not even the Athletics are that bad. So for Mets fans, for Knicks fans across the country that may be seeing this, shut up, okay? I don't care if the Knicks make it past the Sixers, which they probably will. They are not going to be making it past. Oh, I say that, but they're probably going to have to play like Orlando, Detroit, Cleveland, or Toronto, which, I mean, those compared to the Knicks don't really look that threatening, so I might be lazy. But there's no way you beat anyone from the Western Conference. The Western Conference is just so much better. Western Conference is like a straight war zone, all right? It's what the NFC is in the NFL. Obviously, AFC is just complete cupcake fest. But yeah, so we're back to we're just gonna stop talking about New York because it infuriates me talking about that entire area. So obviously, like I said, Braves, they're going through West Coast jam right now. I want to say, They travel up to Seattle tomorrow to play the Mariners for a few games, and then they finish on Friday with the start of the Dodgers series that carries into the weekend. And I think next Tuesday, I believe they're going to be back in Atlanta against the Cubs. So that's going to be wow. I mean, we've got a gauntlet going on. We got Dodgers, we got Cubs. I don't think the Mariners are good at all. I mean, I haven't heard too much about them. I think they're kind of middle of the pack as far as I've remembered. But obviously, Dodgers, Cubs, back to back. That's going to be brutal. Obviously, Cubs are like third right now. They're like third, fourth. But this is kind of what we got for our top five right now. We got the Yankees. They're a game and a half behind the Braves. The Dodgers, I wouldn't say plummeted because, plummeted is like something like what the Mets or Phillies have done. Or Marlins, I guess. Marlins, they were kind of up at the top and then they just are all the way down. But they were able to win a series against the Dodgers. So, I mean, clearly something's going right for them. So that's what we got going on. We got, obviously, Dodgers 3.5. They are behind the Rays and the Cubs. I believe in that order. It's the Cubs, Rays. So Braves number 1, Yankees number 2, Cubs are number 3, Rays are number 4, Dodgers number 5. That's basically what we got going on. It's pretty tight within a few 4 games. They lost. The Dodgers lost back-to-back series to the Marlins and Cardinals. Losing a series, that's something that the Braves will never do. As far as I'm concerned, for the rest of the season. Not even against the Dodgers, not even against the Cubs. Bring it on. Bring anybody on. Basically, that's what we got going on for the MLB, though. So, we're going to go over to the UFL real quick. Quick little segment over there because, I don't think I've talked too much about the UFL. I might have mentioned something about the Louisville Kings earlier on in earlier episodes. But obviously, the reigning champs and the DC Defenders, they are leading the league at 5-1 as of right now. 4 p.m., I believe it is. 4 p.m., the Orlando Storm, which is one of the new debut teams in the UFL, they look to improve to 5-1 and tie with the DC Defenders in the top of the UFL. I don't think they face each other yet, though. So, I mean, I'm really excited. That might be a matchup that could be happening as far as next week. I'm so not tapped in with the schedule, but obviously there was a couple other debut teams. Obviously the Louisville Kings and the Columbus Aviators. Obviously Columbus, Ohio, Louisville, Kentucky, and I really was keeping my eyes on the Louisville Kings because obviously being partially from Louisville, love the area for the most part. Obviously not downtown as much, but Lynn Family Stadium, or whatever the name of their stadium is, it's a pretty cool looking stadium, for a soccer team, especially in MLS. I believe that MLS. Gosh. Obviously Louisville, they started off rough. They were like 0-3. They won 2 straight against some pretty good teams. I believe it was the Dallas Renegades. They won, and then they won against. I couldn't tell you, but right now they are 2-4, sitting at the same spot as the Aviators, which are on a 1-game. Well, I wouldn't say a streak. A streak is technically 3, but they won 1 game, or they won their last game, and then before that they lost, and then I think they won before that. But they kind of started off the same way Louisville did. But Louisville kind of went on a 2-game winning streak and then dropped 1. So yeah, the Storm play the. They play the Birmingham Stallions today. Obviously, Birmingham Stallions, they won. They were like that team off rip when kind of the USFL kind of started, or the XFL, one of the two. So that's what we got going on. So yeah, Orlando Storm, huge. Obviously, another great team in the state of Florida. I mean, I guess they just know how to play ball. But they do have Jack Plummer, which, talking about Louisville, former Louisville quarterback, he played at California, played at, is that West Virginia? One of the two? Might be way far off. Yeah. But obviously he finished his career at Louisville back in 2023. Played for the Carolina Panthers for like a year and a half, I think, or something like that. Or like was backup or practice squad. So he's playing pretty good ball right now. Obviously he's got like a 98 pass rating, like 900 yards. Through like 5 games, it's averaged around like damn near 200 yards a game. Pretty solid passing. So that's what we got going on. UFL, pretty short and sweet. Obviously, we're kind of at the halfway point. Technically, we're at the halfway point, not through like the regular season, but the entire season because it's like 10 weeks, and then we have like 2 playoff rounds, and then that's kind of it, for football until college football, NFL starts back up. FIFA World Cup. Going to be talking about this more when we get closer. We're, as of right now, 39 days until the Central America, North America kind of World Cup starts. June 11th, that will be happening between Mexico and South Africa in Ciudad de Mexico. Korea and Czechia. That will be happening in Zapopan. I probably butchered that. Zapopan, Mexico. That will be June 11th. So that's what we got going on. And then June 12th, that's also Group A. That's like one game, I think, is that Friday night, is we have like the last game of Group A, and then Group B begins Saturday. I want to say America's in Group C. They might be in Group B, so it might be off. Obviously, we're going to be talking about that more. Going to be doing more of a kind of a looking in, like an insight as we get into the, I want to say like 20 days or so like that. I might talk about it more. PGA Tour, obviously, is going on right now. I haven't checked the standings. I probably have to. It's probably getting a little spicy up in here. I mean, that is... unless Cameron Young is still balling out. But that's what we got going on. Cadillac Championship, Trump National Doral Blue Monster, as some call it, in Miami right now. They had to... At first, last night when I was checking for tee times, kind of evaluating who to kind of look at, they had it pushed back like 9 a.m. Even for like the top guys. Usually the top guys kind of go in more towards the evening because they like to carry the broadcast on a little longer. But they kind of moved it up. And for the same reason that they moved the Miami Grand Prix for Formula 1 up, there was a crap ton of weather coming in. Obviously, it's beautiful here in Palm Beach, Florida. Yesterday, it was very gloomy and crappy. It's gorgeous out today at like 80, 90 degrees maybe, somewhere around there. I mean, it didn't feel too hot when I went out a second ago. But yeah, no, there's a whole like front of just storms, just thunderstorms and stuff like that coming down. Traveled pretty fast. I'm assuming that because like Cameron Young, Scotty Scheffler, and Rayton, they teed off like around 11 a.m., like around noon. So I'm assuming that they aren't too threatened about it now. So they'll probably be finishing up like maybe around 3-4 for that. Obviously, Cameron Young, as it stands this morning, I don't know how it stands right now. They already teed off like a couple hours ago. Cameron Young under 15, Rayton, Scheffler, and Siwoo Kim, they are tied for second and under 9 as of this morning before tee times. Oh yeah, like I said, tee times they were fluctuated due to the impending thunderstorms. Obviously, the Miami Grand Prix brought up as well with that. That's like I think the only time I ever talked about Formula 1 on the show, but hopefully more of that in the future, obviously. Talk about FIFA World Cup, UFL, Kentucky Derby. Yeah, Kentucky Derby. Golden Tempo wins the 152nd. Don't quote me if I'm wrong, or don't correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it's 152nd Kentucky Derby at Churchill Downs Saturday in Louisville. Golden Tempo. I mean, what a comeback we had. The odds were like 23-1. I know damn well a shit ton of people made money on that because there's a bunch of idiotic people. Well, I say idiotic, but they're probably some of the smartest in there, or at least some of the luckiest. And I kind of bet on that extreme underdog, like Golden Tempo, that literally came from dead last of a group of 20-something, like 23, 24 horses. Came from a far back, and then like literally won by inches between Renegade, which was actually the favorite, which was like 5-1 in odds to win it. So yeah, a ton of people made money. A ton of people lost. I know Renegade was getting heavily favored, and I know looking at like the people in the stands, I'm like, dude, I'm like, wow. I don't even know if I've seen a crowd like that for like NASCAR, like not even like Daytona, not even for like the Indy. I mean, that's insane. That many people going to watch Amish NASCAR, I mean, that's incredible. Obviously, like, I probably don't understand it as much as other people do because I'm not, like, an avid sports bettor, and I think that's, like, the main thing that people like, oh, yeah, let me post on Instagram my betting ticket for the Kentucky Derby. I'm going to bet on, Golden Tempo, and then they win a crap ton of money. But yeah, I think it's just kind of one of those things where it's like pretty much money laundering through sports betting, and then just farm up people's idiotic bets to like, well, not idiotic, but it's just farm up their bets and just watch them just kind of like fall in peril and just fall in despair as their horse barely loses to another horse that came from literally dead last. Yeah, no, obviously, we do have also some history. Duvall. Sherry Duvall becomes the first female trainer to win the Derby. Not enough credit to the actual jockey though. Don't have a name. Couldn't tell you. They didn't. Nobody. It was never mentioned. Well, I mean, obviously it's been mentioned. I never skimmed over it because I mean they're just giving a lot of props to trainer, but obviously huge for Sherry Duvall. I believe it's French. Yeah, first female trainer to win the Derby. Yeah, like I said, Golden Tempo's odds were 23-1. Renegades were 5-1. So huge underdog story for the Kentucky Derby. Obviously, everybody loves that. I know I was reading something about like a past Derby. I think it was last year. I'm trying to remember the name. There was like a horse that was in a fire, a stable fire. I believe it was last year. Killed like 23 other horses. And then that was like one of the only ones that survived, and they ended up winning the Derby. So that's huge. Obviously, I can go down the Kentucky Derby rabbit hole all I want. It's probably just going to be like looking through like a history textbook. You don't want to see any of this stuff. You don't want to like. I said it last week, and I'll keep saying it. I don't know why. I mean, I never been when in the however many years that I lived in Louisville, but I've never been to Kentucky Derby. I can't really exactly tell you what the entire jazz is about it. I think it's literally just sports betting. I mean, that's really just anything nowadays. But I mean, it's just like I said, NASCAR for the Amish. No hate to the Amish though. Love Amish people. They're cool. Rather be like them. You're not tapped in with technology and whatnot. You can go all day talking about how cool that would be. But yeah, no, Kentucky Derby, obviously huge weekend for them. I think other than the Derby, there's nothing really else going for them for sports in that area. Obviously, they kind of are just like they're just like a crappier version of Jacksonville, I guess. I would say crappier because I honestly prefer Louisville better. But yeah, so that's what we got going on. Not too much. Obviously, the NFL has kind of been not too much with the NFL. Obviously, Fernando Mendoza, he turned down a visit to the White House because I believe that visit was scheduled for the day that he would be starting OTAs or rookie training camp for the Raiders. He did great in press. He was talking about how it wasn't a good look for a rookie, which I mean obviously is correct. A lot of people obviously you're gonna have idiots that are like, oh, you should decline it anyway, blah blah blah, this and that. Either way, POTUS is an honor either way. Obviously, we're not going to talk about politics here. But that's what we got going on. A lot of exciting stuff throughout this week. We just kind of got NBA. Probably going to look into some Formula 1. Might start talking about that on here. Obviously, NBA, like I said. MLB, just same old. A few narratives, just kind of standings. Well, kind of getting to the midway point of the season, kind of the back stretch of the regular season. FIFA World Cup, we'll talk about that more next week. PGA Tour, yeah. We'll probably recap what happens in Cadillac Championship in next week's episode. Obviously, I believe. I'm trying to remember what's going on next week in the PGA. We'll get there when we get to it. But that's what we got going on. So, yeah, Kentucky Derby, PGA Tour, Cadillac Championship, Formula 1, Miami Grand Prix, NBA, Round 1, Round 2, MLB. Braves are goated. Hopefully they stay that way. Spencer Strider debuts tonight, or this afternoon, in Colorado. So, yeah, UFO. That's what we got going on. But it has been a pleasure to join you guys again second, third consistent Mondays or Sunday/Monday, which I know a couple weeks ago we started on Monday. But, that's what we got going on. Hoping to carry the episodes throughout the month, and I think at the end of the month on the 24th we'll be We'll be talking about some serious stuff with the show. Obviously, I forgot to say anything, but anyone that's watching YouTube right now that's watching the episode, not y'all. I got a mic'd up shirt. It was kind of a sample from this website I was kind of tooling with, making a website. Foreshadowing, by the way. Sometime eventually, within the summer, I'd hope, I start, putting up merchandise, making a website so that a lot of people can, because I know the huge thing is just getting access to the episodes and stuff like that for a lot of people that have told me, have given me feedback, which again has only been like a handful of people, but as we go on, obviously you gotta stick out, gotta stretch out to all sides of the planet. Well, that's what we got going on. It is a beautiful Sunday. I'm hoping to enjoy the rest of my Sunday after I get finished up with all this stuff. A lot more stuff for the show, just planning and whatnot. Beautiful week ahead of us. Obviously, start of May a few days ago. But other than that, I hope everyone has a great May. It's a new month. It's a new week that we got going on this week. Hope everyone has a great rest of their day. First off, hope everyone has a great day. Just take it day by day. But chase your dreams. Don't let anybody tell you what to do because they do not know you. Have a great, fantastic rest of your day. May God bless you or whoever you worship, or just may fate bless you. But I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. I hope everyone, watch some sports today. Obviously, we got the NBA, but, get outside. It's a beautiful day, unless you're in Miami, of course. Enjoy some sports. I'll catch you guys next Sunday, the 10th, May 10th, 2026. Catch you guys next weekend with a lot more sports, more news. Other than that, I hope everyone has a great rest of the day, great rest of the week, and a great May. Catch you guys next Sunday here on Mic'd Up. It's been Michael Schneider.